Welcome to the You Are a Force podcast channel, your go-to space for real stories, fearless dreams, and unstoppable women rewriting the rules. And the force behind this podcast. Here is your host, Binoli, Botadara.
Hi everyone, welcome to You Are a Force, the podcast where we celebrate women who break barriers, build empires, and create opportunities not just for herself, but for everyone around us. So I'm your host Binoli Botadara, and today I have someone very special. From bridal brushes to billion-dollar brilliant empire, my guest has turned her vision into a global beauty empire. She is a visionary founder behind Cinderella Brides, the luxury bridal beauty agency that has redefined destination weddings around the globe. She's also a lead beauty CEO of the university, empowering beauty professionals to build thriving businesses, and also a co-founder of Luxx Escapes, curating unforgettable destination luxury weddings. So without further ado, I would love to invite someone who's been featured in Forbes, USA Today, the New York Times, and many more accolades she has already achieved. And her journey is a proof that combined with vision, grit, and grace, you can actually create magic. So please welcome none other than someone extremely successful, passionate about her career, but also creating an impact, none other than Barbie Patel. Barbie, thank you so much for being on You Are a Force.
Thank you. Thank you, Binoli. Thanks for having me.
It's been lovely because when I started looking at your page and I was like, wow, there are some very, very inspiring stories and beautiful pictures. And then I started stalking you and I was like, I have to talk to this person. So thank you for doing this with me.
Thank you.
I want to go back to the beginning, before all the accolades, before all the empire. What was it like to actually grow up in your childhood? Were you always aspiring to become an entrepreneur, or did you want to become something very different, like astronaut, a scientist? How did you come to the terms with what you're doing today? Was it actually ingrained into your childhood?
I actually always dreamed of having a really successful career in New York City, putting on a business suit and going into the office every day, which I actually did end up doing for a long time, for about 13 years,
Yes.
alongside while I started my side business, my side hustle. So did I always aspire to do what I'm doing today? No. What I did aspire to do was to have more freedom and flexibility and own my time and have no limits on what I can do with my lifestyle. And so everything leading up until I think that everything shapes you in life. And so it was just, I guess, serendipitous, but also just being in the right place and not willing to give up that was able to help me, that the activity that I did was able to help me to get out of my 9 to 5 and become a self-employed entrepreneur.
I love that. And so you actually just mentioned that, you did 13 years into the corporate world, you worked there, and I work into financial industry as well. So I do understand how it is. But you graduated from Columbia University and you work in the corporate. So what were the one or two things you learned from your heavy lifting 9 to 5 business skills, which you are actually bringing into your business, which actually has made a difference?
Nobody's going to notice you until you raise your hand. You can either approach your work world as just going to work, getting the job done and leaving, or you can do something to set yourself apart from everybody else that you work with. And that's what's going to get you noticed. And that's what helped me to earn success in my corporate career. And that's the same thing that's helped me to earn success in my personal business.
Wow, I love that. I love that. And totally right, because otherwise, you're just one of the million people who are just working, getting the paycheck, and then just moving on. I totally agree, because I never used to actually go out and say that I've done this, I've done that, till I actually noticed that, when the promotion came, nobody really said that, oh yeah, you would get it because you did it. And then I had to push myself to talk about myself. And I totally agree with what you're saying. So what was the exact moment, Barbie, when you thought that, okay, this is enough and I'm not going to continue this, because you already were doing your side hustles and you figured that, because of the South Asian cultural, background, what you have, or your skin tone, you were not finding the right sort of, makeup artist and people around you who can actually be of any help. And therefore, I think the pain point you converted into Cinderella Brides. But what was that exact moment when you thought that, okay, I'm going to quit this and I'm going to start this?
I actually didn't quit my job to start my Cinderella Brides business. It was just a
Okay.
side hustle. It was
Okay.
something I did on the side to outlet some creative abilities I had. I always loved beauty and fashion growing up. I was the kid that would go to dressed up, do my hair in the morning when I went to high school or in college. I didn't let my friends walk out the door, my roommate, if she didn't look put together, because first impressions, I really believe that
Oh,
first
yes.
impressions are the lasting impressions. And so I think that's super important. And the minute the way that I started the business was I couldn't find somebody to do my match my skin tone. I was getting married and I had a lot of makeup trials where they would make me look lighter than I am, which just made me look like a ghost and it was horrible. And so I just ended up doing my own makeup. I have good skin, so I did very little minimalistic makeup and just very natural, very clean beauty, which is what is trending today.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and my friends were getting married and they started asking for help. And so I just turned it into like a little side hustle. I realized if I was going to work on a weekend while I worked a full-time career also, then I would need to get paid for it because my time is valuable.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And you turned actually that, I mean, the business opportunity from that market gap, which you actually recognize, which is 130 billion industry, and which you actually, which is really brilliant, because now I'm just thinking that so many opportunities we see around all the time we struggle with, but how many times we actually spot that this could actually mean something more. So, Barbie, I want to know that when you started, when you converted into a full-time entrepreneur yourself, and you said that, you already did not, I mean, you were already working, you did not quit. So how much did you raise money from outside to actually expand your business, or
Yeah.
or you use your own savings to start up with?
I mean, well, starting the business was, it really didn't require much capital, right? I needed a website, I needed some business cards, and I needed the drive and the hustle.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a couple of $100 to do bridal shows, which I did in the very, very beginning to get leads, but I realized the power of social media and marketing and learning marketing. Marketing, the ability to be able to market is your biggest asset. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just took that desire, that drive, and just started spreading the word. You open doors, open business, open mouth, open business. If you don't say anything, again, you're not going to have business. So everywhere I went, I would tell people what I do. A minute I would get, I would share in my network via social media, or I would even drive to like dress stores and boutiques and network with photographers and wedding planners to let them know what I do, because that's where the business would come from. Until today, our majority of our business is a referral based business. The second is through media, through Instagram, TikTok, Google. And then the third is through referrals from other vendors like wedding planners or photographers or different event professionals.
Yeah, that's amazing, because I also thought always that, the word of mouth is the most important thing in your line of work. But still, your team generated 10 million views on social media. So that's also something which is incredible, because not a lot of people can achieve that.
Mhm.
So, what do you think actually worked in terms of a particular campaign or a particular reel or particular messaging you were doing it right? If you can share with us.
I think if you throw up enough mud against the wall, something is about to stick. And we're not doing anything uniquely different than anybody. We're just doing more of it and on all different audiences and all different platforms. And because of that is why we're successful.
Okay.
Something's going to work. If you do enough of it, something is going to work. It's like the compound effect of 10,000 hours of anything you put into it, you're eventually going to have success.
Yeah, so there's no magic formula per se that, okay, this
Mm-mm.
is
Just
Sure.
work. Just do it consistently. The magic is consistency and
Sure.
persistency, not giving up.
Okay, okay, good to
Mhm.
know. And I'm gonna take a note of it for myself.
Mhm.
But Bobby, another point is that you started this business with the niche which you identified, and then you came up with this entire business. But then you deviated, or rather expanded your business into, not deviated, but actually expanded into the Luxx Escape and also the beauty CEO industry, which obviously has the beauty, education, travel, everything together, right? So that is sort of having the entire supply chain in place. So
Mhm.
what was the reason that, you really thought that these are also the opportunity and I'm going to cater to almost everything, rather than just going deep down in the Cinderella brides?
It's just about diversification. One of the best pieces of business advice I got from a very successful business mentor who was actually in real estate. He said that you're the nucleus and you can branch into different ancillary type of businesses that are all related to what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I follow Gary Vee a lot, and he talks a lot about your brand and your influence, your audience being your currency.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you have an audience, you can build basically anything. For me, I do training, education, public speaking, coaching, and that's my educational side of the business. But then, in addition to that, through the beauty, I've done plenty of courses and teaching and also application. I still work in the business, but ancillary business, I noticed a trend of weddings moving, a lot of our South Asian weddings, that's our niche, moving into Europe. And so it was just a great time. We love to travel. We wanted to build a business that would support that type of lifestyle because anything we do in our jobs or in our businesses, it's not about the money that you earn. The money doesn't bring you the happiness, it's the results from what the money can do for you. So for us, it was just more creating, and I say us because that my husband is a partner in that business, but it's about creating a lifestyle where we can, work from anywhere, we can explore and kind of do things that we want and that bring us joy. And it combines the love of travel and the love of weddings and into a really successful business system that we've created, almost like an affiliate system where we also help other event professionals in our industry earn more money. If they're an event planner, they can also be a travel agent and earn more commissions on the work that they're already doing. So it's really it's a bigger project, it's a bigger scope. You're affecting more lives, not only your own.
Yeah, that's amazing. And
Mhm.
there's a different joy and satisfaction in doing this way rather than just, just putting yourself in just front of your computer and just doing one way. But also, Barbie, you scaled up from a one-woman show to 45 odd employees, and that itself is a huge part of building businesses, but also losing the creative control or also letting people make mistakes. So what was the hardest part of actually letting go the control? But also because in your line of business, the reputation is very, very critical, and someone else's silly mistake can actually cause a lot of trouble. So what was the toughest part of letting go, and what did you actually let go, and what did you or what did you keep it to yourself?
I mean, it's hard letting go. That was the hardest thing. Even having somebody have access to your inbox as my assistant, or having other artists work and represent your brand. And they're not perfect. They're going to make mistakes, but if
Sure.
you want to scale a business, that's a risk you have to take.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you don't want to scale a business and you want to do all the work, then you have to just keep doing all the work and you can have more control. It's okay to let people make mistakes because when you build a brand that represents a company versus the individual, the consumer also knows that there is like different parties involved. It's not
Yeah.
just the business, but it's a person that's vetted by the business.
Yeah, there are a lot of moving parts, so you have
Mhm.
to then do the damage control, but people learn from mistakes, right?
Mhm.
And I want to pick up on the Luxx Escape, where you do the destinations weddings, and which to me sounds really fascinating because you get to travel also because I also love traveling.
Mhm.
But so how do you create a mood board? Is it like when the bride and groom come, they give you the suggestions or the budget and then you come up with options um, or you give them, what works for you in terms of, the opportunities where you can actually do the best work? And what kind of margins do event planners work with in terms of luxury weddings compared to the regular weddings?
So I'm not an event planner, and Luxx Escapes is not a wedding planning agency. We're a travel agency. So
Okay.
we do destination planning for our clients, meaning we
Okay.
find the hotel, the
Honeymoon.
venues,
Okay.
we find them the room blocks, we help them with guest travel and accommodations, and we recommend vendors whether they
Okay.
are in the local geographic area of the destination that we're planning for, or we're recommending some of our US based vendors. So margins can be different based on different countries, right? It can be based, I don't know exactly what you like, if you want to rephrase that question, but there it could be different. A wedding in Italy it costs more, is more expensive than if you were doing a wedding in Turkey, let's say, or a wedding in Thailand is, more cost effective than if you did a wedding in the United States. So that's like from a perspective like that, I can answer it. But as far as margins, planners charge different things.
Hmm.
They also make commissions on vendors in the local geographic area. So it really depends on the actual wedding planner.
Okay, okay. And what's the most extravagant, high profile, demand somebody had made, which you thought that, what kind of, maybe it created a chaos, but then you guys delivered, or any experience like that?
I can't really think of anything that created a chaos. I'm usually on the end of the like beauty side when it comes to a lot of weddings. And outside of that, with the planning of finding the venues and the destinations, we did have a client who I scouted lots of countries for her and lots of locations. And the problem with her was that she didn't have the proper budget for the type of wedding that she wanted. And
Mm-hmm.
so everything that we found her seemed very expensive for her, or it seemed like it would go over budget. Also, in that sense, it was really difficult to work with somebody like that didn't have realistic expectations and also didn't know what they wanted. So I would say if you're listening to this and you're a bride that's planning a destination wedding, have some reality on
Yeah.
what things cost and what kind of budget you should have based on the wedding that you want. For example, if you have a 400 guest wedding and you want 5 events, then you're going to spend close to 7 figures for a wedding if you're going to want to do it in a luxury capacity.
True, very true. And Barbie, every entrepreneur's journey looks really glossy and beautiful and glamorous, but I'm sure there are a lot of sleepless nights and there are some, things which did not work or initial services, product offering, business ideas actually failed. So, and most entrepreneurs don't really talk about it. So, can you please share with us if any exclusive mistake if you guys made, and then what was the learning from it, or maybe early on?
I I think that any mistake that you make, it's like a learning process. So you never lose, either you win or you learn a lesson. And initially, when you start any business, your rates are going to be a little bit lower, or sometimes you just want to get the experience, so you provide the services at a very discounted cost or sometimes for free. And the way the world works, the reason people pay 10,000 or even for 20,000 for a Chanel or Hermes bag is because they place a value on something
Hmm.
more expensive. When something is costs, nothing or very a low amount, sometimes people don't value that, and that's how you get treated when you start a business. And so it's not per se a mistake, it's more of a learning lesson
Sure.
that when people pay for your services and they spend money with you, they're going to value that relationship a little bit more. It's human nature than sometimes when you start something and you offer something for free, they don't put as much of a value on it, even if you did the same work in scenario A versus scenario B.
Yeah, very, very well said. Totally, totally. And Barbie, are you in trying to integrate AI, which is currently that's buzzing everywhere, into your line of work? And do you see your, back end changing or any particular ideas emerging with the use of AI?
Absolutely. We're working on a beauty tech startup right now, and it's backed by AI. We're, doing the build out. I have a co-founder, and we're creating an ecosystem of brands, consumers, and creators, all focused in the beauty space. So AI is definitely going to change the way we work. The beauty is that if you're a makeup artist listening to this, there's no AI that's going to replace the work that your hands do.
Sure.
So be thankful for that as an artist. But with keeping up with evolving changes in the market, absolutely, we're implementing AI in our processes when it comes to dealing with clients, in our back end system when we're trying to make sure that we follow up or answer questions in a timely manner, or the processes or onboarding is good and simplified for our clients using AI. And so AI is going to change how we work to a certain capacity. I think so. A lot of the white collar work is going to be affected by AI.
Yeah.
Our blue collar work, sometimes blue collar, even though being in beauty, I don't consider it blue collar because you can earn more than a white collar job. Many times that's why I replaced my white collar job with being a makeup artist, because I made more money in my business than I did in my job after a while. And so AI is definitely here to stay, and I'm just excited to see how it's going to reshape the future of beauty.
Oh, I love that. And more power to you, and good luck for creating that app.
Thanks.
And I want to know a very cheeky thing that, when the competitors actually start copying the trends or your business model, replicate, what you have to offer, and then give the customers with slightly cheaper or maybe half a price or something. How do you internally move, the way you actually deal with that client, or even in general your ecosystem or business model, apart from just moving the price point?
That's a great question. It's actually happening right now with the shift of the generations. We see we've served the millennial bride for probably over the past decade. The brides now sitting in our chair are Gen Z brides. And also within the beauty industry, there's lots of new emerging talent, which is Gen Z talent. So they're charging a lot less. And, some of the Gen Z brides, they like that and they want that particular service. And that's okay, because not everybody is for everyone, and not every customer is for your business. We serve a select type of clientele that has very big multi-day, multi-event weddings. We have key differentiating factors, like we're able to service large amounts of individuals in a party. A lot of these new startups or new startup artists are running solo. They don't have a business model. They don't have a system. They don't have certain things that we provide are unique things to our clients. So it's not so much about reducing your prices. If you're a business that's listening to this, it's about seeing what you can offer that sets you apart from everybody else. Can you provide more value within the package that you're offering that others cannot?
And what's the next for Barbie Patel, apart from creating the beauty AI tech? What's on your 3 to 5 years horizon?
That's the goal. It's not an app. It's actually a website and an application. So it's a little bit of both, and that's the focus for the next few years. It's gonna take about a year to build out. It's a very large project.
Okay.
So we're gonna be partnering with brands. We're gonna be partnering with creators. We're gonna be partnering and offering this to consumers. So that's gonna be like the project that is kind of the next 5 year phase of my career.
Oh, I love that, and good
Hmm.
luck with that.
Thank you.
And last but not least, what is that one piece of advice you would give it to all the entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs who are listening today? Because you have created your side hustle into a $1 billion empire. So your piece of advice would be genuinely very handy to all the listeners.
So a correction, it's not $1 billion empire, just so
Not
you know.
yet. Not yet.
Not yet. I agree. I love the power of the spoken word, but I definitely want to represent properly. But it is a seven-figure business. And what advice I can give to aspiring entrepreneurs is if you don't work, it won't work. If you work, it'll work. So put the energy behind it. You have so many tools that when I first started my businesses that were not available. And so you can really shorten your success time frame. You can really grow at an exponential rate, but you have to work. And if you treat your business like a business, it's going to pay you like a business. If you treat it like a hobby, it's going to pay you like a hobby. It's just simple. I feel like there's no success to life. It's just about doing what it takes to like continually being consistent and working.
And getting failed and then learning from your mistakes and then moving on. And also,
Exactly.
I think the world of social media, you get to see so many other people's successes. And so many times we get bogged down that, oh, this person has actually gone ahead 100 times more than I did. But that doesn't mean I can't, at this stage as well. So I think it's how you look at it, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, so great. No, thanks, Barbie. But before I let you go, I'm going to ask some rapid fire questions very quickly, whatever comes to your mind.
Or I just wanted to add one thing for social media. You're seeing everybody's highlight reel. You're seeing all the successes, the good things that are happening, but you don't see like what actually the work that they did to get there. I have a friend who's a fashion designer, and I was talking to her, and she's having really great success now. But she's been around for a decade. And
Hmm.
the results of her hard work and labor are showing through. And so she wasn't an overnight success, and most people are not an overnight success. So the key is not to get discouraged, not to, lose your passion about whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. Because again, if you put enough time into it and you keep moving forward and you're getting the right mentorship and you're changing your strategy year after year so you can grow and scale and improve, eventually the success in it is inevitable.
Oh my God, I can't believe you just said that because when I started this podcast literally in June, and this
Mhm.
was completely sure out of passion, it was on my vision board for 5 years. Stars were
Mhm.
not aligned to do because I studied at London Business School and then I started my job. And then before that, I always worked into asset management. So a very, very high profile finance job. I never got an opportunity, but when I did and I finally started, honestly, the kind of people I was getting as speakers, I really thought that in 2 or 3 episodes I'm gonna have 1 million followers, and which didn't happen. It was such a shock, and I spoke with few of my friends who are influencers or celebrities, and I'm like, how do you guys have like millions of followers or whatever? And they said, I've been doing this for 10 years. It did not happen in 10 days. And
Right.
I and I didn't want to buy fake followers or robos and all of that. So I was like, you know what? I'm like you said, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. It doesn't matter if I have 500 followers or 5 million followers, but I need to be true to myself. And that
Mhm.
was actually a shock because I really, really did not understand how this entire thing worked. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And the key is not, it's not only about just keep doing it. It's also like no, begin with the end in mind, right?
Hmm.
What is your end goal? And when you start working towards, because you already know you already achieved that end goal, it's easier to do the in between stuff.
Hmm. 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 True, true.
Hmm.
And sometimes, your goalpost also changes, right? So today you want to
Exactly.
do like something A, but then by the time you develop yourself and learn, you may want to do something else also. So I think, but you're right. I think you have to have the ultimate achievement of the goal in mind and then backwards, everything else
Right.
can work.
Exactly. Hmm.
Sure. Great. So
Yeah.
I'm going to jump onto the rapid fire. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
I just said it actually, begin with the end in mind. A really successful businesswoman once told me that I admired her a lot. And I asked her lots of business questions. And I said, how did you get to where you are today? Had financial freedom. She owned multiple successful businesses and real estate, and she was able to travel. And she said, you begin with the end in mind. Work towards a life that you want to build for yourself, and then like identify what that is and how you want to live every day, and then work backward.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
If you were to meet 16 years old Barbie today, what would you tell her?
That don't worry about what people think. Just keep doing it anyway. Because there's times in my career where I remember even just situations where I would put myself out there and then somebody would make a negative comment and it would kind of bring me back. So it's like, you take two steps forward and then one step back, and you continually do that, especially in your 20s, because you're
Yeah.
always worried about what other people think of you. But if you can just get over the fact of not worrying about what other people think, because it's truly none of your business, um, you can have success a lot sooner.
Sure. Most favorite holiday destination and the destination wedding destination.
Holiday destination is definitely Hawaii. I've been there like 4 times. During COVID, we actually spent like a month there as soon as Hawaii opened up. My kids were homeschooling, and I was like, listen, you guys are gonna have to wake up really early if you want to go to Hawaii, and let's go live there for a month. And it's just, there's a very sense of calm and peace. It's a very spiritual type of country, I feel like. It's its own island, I should say, not country. Well, we could say it's its own tiny country, but I love the hiking, the peace, the serenity, the nature, really, really beautiful. So absolutely love that. Wedding destination is probably Italy. I love the food in Italy. I love the just the entire feeling. If you're whether you're in Rome and you're like amongst all of this beautiful old architecture, or you're in Lake Como and you have this beautiful serene setting of this lake, and it's a beautiful place to like have your wedding. Or
I'm
you're in a villa in
obsessed.
Tuscany and it has the best wine.
I know. I'm obsessed with Italy. I
Yeah.
have been countless number of times, and I'm like every part of Italy has something to offer, and it
Yeah.
has everything. Like you said,
Mhm.
wine, food, people are amazing,
Yeah.
desserts, gelatos,
Yeah.
tiramisu, everything.
Exactly.
What are the three makeup products you swear by or you can't live without?
I would say it's definitely my mascara. I love a good drugstore mascara. Lots of good brands have, like, I love the L'Oreal mascara. Currently, I'm using the Panorama mascara by L'Oreal, which is waterproof, and it really just like gives you like big lashes. You don't need any, you know, fake falsies or anything like that. So definitely mascara, my lip balm or lip gloss, either lip mask or anything clear. And I would say my Isden SPF 50 tinted sunscreen. Those
Okay.
three things I can create like a great natural everyday look and not have to do much.
That's amazing. And what's your skincare routine, like the products which you use, AM, PM, serums, if you can share with us, because you have amazing skin.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't come to this podcast with any makeup on today.
That's why I can see through your skin.
Yeah. So, I definitely never, I use a double cleanse, especially when I wear makeup. So I use like a creamy foaming cleanser. I love the Artistry creamy foaming cleanser. And then I use I think it's the CeraVe or a La Roche-Posay gel cleanser. So I will do a creamy cleanse, a gel cleanse. Then my face is really clean. I use a toner. I love the Garnier Micellar Water. It has a makeup remover option, so you can take off all your makeup. In addition, if anything is left over. After that, I use the hyaluronic acid. Currently I'm using the L'Oreal one. I get a lot of gifted PR, so I try lots of different products. I have to say, you don't have to spend a lot of money to have good products in your skincare routine. L'Oreal has some really amazing products that are all probably the very high end and the mid
Drugstore,
tier,
yeah. Mid
or
ones
it's
as
all
well.
being made in the same place anyway.
Yes, I was about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. And a good eye cream. I don't skip eye cream. I think that eyes under like you're not really it's not about getting rid of dark circles or bags. It's really about preserving the skin and the firmness underneath the eyes. And so eye cream is something I know a lot of my younger clients they'll skip it, but it's so important, super important. And then my facial moisturizer, I
Which
like
one do you use? Which eye cream do you use?
Right now I'm using the L'Oreal Revitalift. It has like a 3 ball gold roller and it has
Hmm.
caffeine in it, and it feels nice because in the morning it's nice and cooling. At night I'm using a SkinCeuticals, like it's an anti-aging AG eye complex at night. And then at nighttime I do different things. I do like Retin-A at night. vitamin C serum, my moisturizer. So I switch it up. My
Okay.
formula is not going to be everybody's formula.
Yeah.
Really, it's skincare is about becoming in tune with your skin and being reflective and monitoring what's working and what's not working and customizing something for yourself. And that's how you're going to see success with skincare. But I always recommend a 5-step routine: cleanse, tone, treat, which is your serums, eye cream and moisturize, and
Okay.
sunscreen, of course.
What's the book would you recommend everyone to read?
Um, I love the compound effect. I forget what the name of the author is, but I read it like once a year, and
Really?
it just
Okay.
talks about, I can tell you what the author, maybe we can add it to the show
I
notes or
can.
something.
Yeah.
But the compound effect is, it talks about like the results of your work that you do over time.
Okay.
And I think it's really great for this generation because we live in a very microwave generation where people expect results very quickly, but it's in reality, nothing in life works that way, even if you want it to. And even with AI, you can have faster results with things, but really the actual work is going to take time.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And what are the Instagram handles or any social media accounts you would recommend for people to follow to learn some business tips or some mentorship or some other maybe beauty related, intel?
Yeah, absolutely. So Barbie Patel with 2 L's on Instagram. All my business accounts are on there. And even a step further, if you want to go on my website, it's just Barbie Patel, Patel, BarbiePatel.com.
I'll add
Uh,
it. Yes.
yeah. hmm
And
Yeah.
anyone else you follow apart from yourself and which we can also, tell people to follow them?
Yeah,
For the
absolutely.
learning. Yeah.
Currently, I'm following a really successful billion-dollar founder. She exited a very successful company she founded, and then she just started another one. Her name is Miss Sunira Madani.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. And last but not least, what does success mean to you?
Success is being able to do what you want to do on a daily basis with the people that you want to do it with, where you want to do it.
Okay, that's amazing. On that note, Barbie, thank you so much for sharing your incredible story. Your journey is a proof that modern fairy tale is what you write for yourself with a business plan and beautiful vision. So thank you for reminding us that success isn't about reinventing the wheel, it's about just knowing where to steer the wheel. And because when the passion meets strategy and culture meets purpose, the empires are born. So thank you for sharing your part of your story. And to everyone listening, whether you're building your dream from scratch or scaling your business or a side hustle into 6 or 7 figures, remember that no dream is too glamorous or no goal is too ambitious until you actually make that happen. So keep showing up with grace, grit, and unstoppable growth because just like Barbie, you are a force too. And this is not a podcast, it's a global sisterhood. So let's shine our way through and then make that dream come true. So until that time, stay beautiful and stay powerful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to You Are a Force. Hit subscribe and join us next week for more powerful stories from women rewriting the rules. Until then, keep building, keep leading, and remember, you are a force.